By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman to
Mm-hmm.
serve with a black president. I'm
Mm-hmm.
proud of the first black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do because together there's nothing. Look, this is the United States.
Y'all just tell me who the nominee is going to be. Let me know when you guys are finished fighting amongst yourselves who I got to vote for in November to keep Hitler out the White House. That's all I want to know. Who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. Y'all do your thing. Play in traffic all you want in front of these Republicans, acting a fool in front of these people instead of privately declaring your stuff. But don't text me no more because I'm not taking no more of these texts. Just let me know when you guys are finished figuring it out, Democrats, because I know y'all the freak out people. Go ahead and freak out, have your conversation, and then let me know who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. That's it. I'm done. Oh, and by the way, if it's Biden in a coma, I'm going to vote for Biden in a coma. I don't even really particularly like the guy. A lot of his policy, don't like him. He's not Donald Trump, right? Yeah. Hitler, White House. We keeping him out. Keeping Project 2025 out. That's all I care about. Up and down the ballot, from the rooter to the tutor. School board, all the way up to White House and everything in between. Governors, members of Congress. I'm just going to vote all the way down to keep these people out.
You got me, man. I'm not going anywhere. All right. All right, I'll come back out when they open the gate, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. One last thing. You know, I used to think when I was a senator, there were always congestion on the highways. There's no congestion anymore. None. We go on the highway, there's no congestion. And so the way they get me to stop talking, they'll say, we just shut down all the roads, Mr. President. You're going to lose all the votes if you don't get in. But anyway, I'll be back out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Can I finish, Simone? Will you just shut up for a minute and let me finish?
Pardon me, sir. You don't get to tell me to shut up on national television.
We don't tell people to shut up on this show.
As you can see, Joe Biden is having a hell of a week, and it's not going to get any better for him. He's done the meme thing where he says, ho, 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 happy 4th of July, and now we are watching as the man continues to slowly deteriorate. Let's take a look at some of the other stuff we've seen.
And we give thanks to our Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States, the extraordinary President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Independence Day.
But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. This is a battle for the future of American democracy. And now is a good time. In June, thank God. In June, and not October, in June, this is the last chance for Democrats to decide whether this man we've known and loved for a very long time is up to the task. As for the rest of us, and that's Democrats, that's independents, that's Republicans of good faith. Let's be smart. Let's take a deep breath, and let's understand it's only July the 5th. Such an historic decision should not be made in haste.
Which I want to do. There's 7,000 people waiting at the gate to get in. So if I don't finish this, they can't come in. So maybe if you're hanging around, I'm going to sneak back out if that's okay, all right? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember that famous expression?
Hold on.
They also serve who only stand and wait. I remember when our son was deployed, my wife would go to stand in the sink in the morning, drinking her coffee, and saying that prayer, worrying, always concerned, and all of you. So we owe you. This could not be done without the family support. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, and I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you. You got me, man. I'm not going anywhere. All right. All right, I'll come back out when they open the gate, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. One last thing. You know, I used to think when I was a senator, there were always congestion on the highways. There's no congestion anymore. None. We go on the highway, there's no congestion. And so the way they get me to stop talking, they'll say, we just shut down all the roads, Mr. President. You're going to lose all the votes if you don't get in. But anyway, I'll be back out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Thank you.
I'm not.
You know, I was in that World War I cemetery in France. And the one that one of our colleagues, the former president, didn't want to go and be up there. I probably shouldn't even say it. Anyway. We got to just remember who the hell we are. We're the United States of America. Whoa. And by the way, I've been all over the world with you. I've been in and out of battles anyway.
The Project 2025 thing is the whole Republican Party. At this point, it's not about Biden. It is not about him. It's above me now. There's a Best Western next door. It is about keeping Donald Trump and his Project 2025 friends out of power. That's it for me, y'all. Y'all let me know what you think. And another thing. I've always got another thing. You guys do know that in 2020, y'all Democrats had choices of young people. You had a young LGBTQ guy, Mayor Pete. You had a Latino. You had Kamala Harris. You had Liz Warren. You had all these choices that were all younger than Biden, fresher and newer than Biden. And you know who y'all picked to be the president and the nominee? Joe Biden. He beat all the young people. So, yes, we have a gerontocracy problem on the Democratic side. Way too many of these oldie goldies that don't seem to want to sit down and retire. But when given the choice between the young and fresh and Joe Biden, y'all picked Joe Biden. That was what you picked. So he's in there because Democrats actually picked him in the first place. So just keep that in mind, that you've been given options in the past, and this is what you picked. And nobody stepped up to choose to run against him in the primary. So once again, Democrats went out and voted and picked. If you try to undo that choice, like 57 million some odd Democrats voted in these primaries, so what are you going to do? You're going to just tell them, F off, we're going to pick somebody different that's not him, or Kamala Harris, who was on that ticket too, on those ballots? That's not democracy. This choice has been made. And so again, unless he decides to walk away, this is your choice. It's like when you go to a wedding, you got chicken or fish. You can eat chicken or fish or just be hungry. Or like when I was growing up in my house, it's what mom made for dinner or go to bed. There's your choices. You don't always get choices that you love. You get what mom made for dinner or take your ass to bed. And in this case, it's either what mom made for dinner or Hitler. I'm voting for whoever ain't Hitler, and it ain't him. And I'm going all the way down that ballot, rooted to the Tudor school board up to the White House. This is about power and about picking not Hitler. That's it. That's it. That's me. Okay, now I'm really done. Bye.
Dude, look, I think the big lie of 2024 is the idea that what happened on Thursday night to Joe Biden is an anomaly or an aberration. There is now credible reporting from Axios, Alex Thompson at Axios, that there's been a 3.5-year cover-up to try to keep Joe Biden away from other people so folks wouldn't see just how bad it is. Last night, the most alarming article I read yesterday was from the New York Times that said his lapses in meetings are getting worse and more frequent. There was a paragraph in that story where senior diplomatic officials in the United States and in Europe said that they weren't sure you could put Joe Biden in the same room as other world leaders right now. Last night, Joe Biden told donors to the Democratic Party that the reason he was bad on Thursday night was because of his foreign travel, a trip that ended 12 days before the debate. What we saw on Thursday night was Joe Biden at his best. 7 days of rest, prep with his top staff. That was Joe Biden at his best. I've honestly stopped worrying about the campaign, and I have one question. Who's running the White House today? Who's making decisions today? I'm not really worried about the presidency in January. I'm worried about it right now. We have serious problems going on right now, and I don't really think Joe Biden is up to the task today, let alone 7 months from today.
Scott,
But all of this leads us to another question. And it was asked by a friend of mine via text message, so I'm going to answer it right here. My friend asks this. I'm trying to imagine the most insane next step for the 2024 election. Biden resigns before conclusion of term. Kamala Obama, Kamala Tulsi. Tulsi Gabbard is not going to be a vice presidential nominee. It's not going to be Michelle Obama either, although people seem to be really wedded to the idea that Michelle Obama is going to be the nominee, and there's some pretty good reasons for that. But I think it's pretty simple here to see what happens. If Joe Biden goes away, which I don't think he's going to, I think we're past the point where he's actually going to step down. If it's up to him, look, he has ridden this thing out for as long as he can. He's known he's deteriorated. What does he care if other people care? Jill Biden and Hunter Biden continue to push him to stay in the race. He will do that. That's who he trusts. And plus, if he gets out, it's affirmation that he is a loser and a puppet, and he doesn't want that for his legacy. If he loses the election, well, he'll just blame other people for that. And I think that this is all very sad, but well-deserved for Joe Biden because he is a human piece of garbage. Now, what happens here next? Well, it is going to be Kamala Harris. No question there. I think Kamala Harris is the person they have to put in this race because of all the problems that will create if they do not. Michelle Obama would sidestep a lot of that, the racial female side, but it just doesn't really seem as simple as people are making it with Michelle Obama. The Kamala Harris move is pretty simple, and then you have to ask yourself, who's next? And you'll see exactly what happened with Barack Obama, a safe white guy. That's what you're going to end up with. And who is that safe white guy? I don't know the answer to that. It could be one of the guys running for United States Senate who's probably going to lose. Sherrod Brown out of Ohio. John Tester out of Montana. These are all people who are on their way out the door already. They're considered to be moderates, although Sherrod Brown is not. What about Doug Jones from the great state of Alabama? This is the guy that beat Roy Moore. A lot of people very excited about that. He has a little bit of national ID, and he can kind of play off the idea that he's a Southern Democrat. He's a guy who fought the extremist Roy Moore. That might just be my Alabama bias going, but it has to be Kamala Harris, and it has to be an old white guy to be safe. I mean, that's the only solution there is. But again, I do not think Joe Biden goes away. I think Joe Biden rides this thing out and gets destroyed by Trump. I think Democrats are looking at a total wipeout, and that would be the best thing that could happen to this country.